Okay, so we're going to have a look at paper 1, question 5, writing. So like we said in other videos, remembering most important question that you answer. Okay, so we know 40 marks, 45 minutes, right? Real key things, vocabulary is king. If your vocabulary is good, you'll be okay. If your vocabulary isn't good, you'll struggle. Sentence construction, sentence variety, that's really vital. Whole text structure. You've got to think when you're planning your response, how is it going to start, what developments happen, and how does it end? Hopefully you're going to be thinking about things like flashback, or you're going to be thinking about cyclical narratives or stuff like that. They're all pretty good. Okay, so here are my key tips, right? You might pause it and jot them down. So wide to narrow, want to make sure you have movement in your text, okay? This might be from literally, I'm going to start by describing atmosphere and then it's going to move into a person. Want to remember, I don't always want to focus on the big, okay? At some point you've got to narrow down into specifics. Paragraph variety, where do you see it? Do you have a single word sentence or a single sentence paragraph that develops in your response? Motifs as above. Try and have a bit of extended imagery within your work. Remember, a metaphor that extends can develop through the text, or it might simply be a metaphor of more than one line. Sentence mastery. Sentence mastery grid. It's on the revision session video, okay? It's key to your revision. And remember, imagery. Hopefully you'll be able to have a bit of motif and a bit of extended metaphor, but remember, imagery is king. What you're doing with your adjectives, your colours, your metaphors, your personification, you know, what you're doing with that imagery. Okay, let's have a look at an example. Okay, so this example I'm showing you achieved 29 out of 40. Again, it's one of our examples. Just think about what it does to be successful. Okay, so here's the question. All right, so a magazine has asked contributions to creative writing section. Either write a description of a very hot place as suggested by the picture, or write a story about a disagreement. Okay, so at this point then, you might pause the video and have a quick look. I'm not going to read through it. Right, so the first thing I want you to see in this, that it starts big. Okay, and then it moves into a narrow focus on a girl. So it starts by saying, darkness gleamed in the sky, the ancient glyphs were twinkling in the walls of the cave, and then it focuses on this person. So among the sticks knelt a girl. So really basically, in terms of structure, it starts big and it moves small, and we know that we've got to do that. Okay. We know also that we've got, if we read this, we've got a lot of examples basically of sentence construction. Okay, so we've got, for example, among the sticks there, so it starts with a prepositional phrase. Okay, we've got a sentence that begins with a pronoun, her, there. We've got a sentence that begins with a present participle, ing, shimmering stars gently, there. Okay, so we've got a semicolon sentence within it as well, a semicolon that replaces the conjunction there. Her feet were bare, hair was free. Okay, so instead of and it poured over, this candidate just uses semicolon. So we've got that, okay. And I've also just picked out in yellow here, I've just picked out some of the vocabulary I thought was nice. Gleamed, twinkling, fluctuated, delicate glow, nimble, silvery, shimmering. Okay, look at what the examiners put. Clear linguistic devices up a level 3 already, and you know the vocabulary is nice, isn't it? So yeah, that's one thing. Okay, note also it begins there was a gentle murmur, because we'll come back to that. Okay, look how it continues then here. Okay, again you might pause it. All right, so within this then we see this motif develops, okay, because this gentle murmur, that's how it started. We've then got it there, we've then got it there, okay, and that's sentence construction, you lot, okay. So Let's look at this. Look at the use of the sibilant sounds. As soft as the sun sets, silently small droplets of rain drifted down from the heavens to kiss the damp earth around her. The heady sweet scent of paprika echoing through the bushes around her. Okay? Look at what it says. Variety of sentence forms, mostly controlled agreements, successful linguistic devices. Again, the vocabulary is really nice. This candidate's thought about using sibilant sounds to describe the atmosphere. Okay? And also, let's have a look at this. It wasn't like this before. Without her, this thin branch of trees had layered down over the acrid earth. Darkness had splattered over the cloudy sky. Look at the contrast here. When the girl's there, we've got this idea of light. And then it flashes back to when the girl wasn't there. And it describes the same place as being full of darkness. That's our kind of structure, okay? And look what it says, usually coherent structure with connected ideas, okay? Upper level 3. This candidate's gone back in the same place at a different time, and they've got a flashback going there, okay? Lovely. And then kind of it continues here. Let's have a look then. You might pause it and read it closely. The murmur grew, the murmur became a crescendo. Okay, she gets up and moves. I want you to see that what this candidate's done is they've written a lovely story on a really basic plot. We're in a kind of strange place, okay, and the person makes this disagreeable setting perfect. Okay, so she gets up and moves. This is the change in the plot. It's the description that drives the writing, not just elaborate plots. Look how there isn't any speech or dialogue in there. Look how it focuses in one key bit of time apart from the flashback. Look how it's doable in 45 minutes. Basically, this candidate thought about how a person disagrees with the setting, basically. Okay, and I think one thing we can do with this, for those of you who studied Lord of the Flies, you see that what this candidate's done is they've taken ideas that they knew about Simon in Lord of the Flies, and they've used that and created their own piece of writing based from it. Okay, if I were you, I would go back in the video now and I would look for words that you wouldn't use, and I would steal, bits of vocabulary, because it's a lovely example of vocabulary, and we can see when we look at this writing closely why it was so successful. Okay, and I'll just leave it here with what the examiner said about it. Okay, lovely.